Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
Hi, Jessica.
Sai, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much to call me to talk.
Thank you very much, firstly, for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Great.
So I've gone through a profile. I can see you're working as software developer from last 5 years. So I thought to
Yeah.
tell about you and the work that you're doing and also some of your experiences to my audience.
Okay. I'm start working with infrastructure. So I work with security and most exactly with telecom. Is something that I like too much because I learn about servers and about security, as I said before. And I work about 1 year in this position, but it's not what I really want. So I start to find some place when I could be a developer, and I start to work as a community manager in a startup called Shall We, where we're doing hackathons. And I start to make contact with some developers and other startups. And finally, I start to work as a developer, backend developer. I start work with Java and JavaScript. And 2 years before, I work a lot Spanish in my work. So if I talk anything wrong, please correct me. Okay? Well, and I work as a backend developer for 2 years. And before I work as a front-end developer. So I work with JavaScript, of course, and React. And right now I work with front-end architecture. I work with Angular. It's an amazing framework. And it's very different work focus on architecture the last 4 or 5 years, because I work with architecture was 4 months. So it's not too much time, but it's very different, and it's a good experience because right now I look not just for the tasks, but I look at security, I look at pipelines, I work at infrastructure, I work as architecture itself, and I help developers in the big tech that I work to produce software more quickly, more easily, and it's an amazing experience. I like too much to work with architecture.
So you're from?
I am from São Paulo. It's a city from Brazil, and I live more exactly in the very, how can I say, I know I know the words I need to do in Spanish, but I'm translate for English in my head, in my mind. I remember, and I don't live in I live in the downtown of São Paulo.
Okay. So before 5 years, what was your knowledge in technology? Have you done education in technology?
I studied for 2 years before I start to work as a software developer. So I studied for 2 years, and in these 2 years, I work as a sales girl. I come from the fashion market. I work in fashion market for 80 years. So I work in the sales, in fashion research, in create collections for God, I forgot. But I create collections. I make clothes. Yes, 8 years. 8 years before I come from the fashion market.
So right now, as a software developer, what kind of projects you're working on?
As I say in the beginning, I work in a big company. I work in Santander. I don't know if you know. It's a bank. It's an international bank. And what I do in architect is create some libraries. And these libraries work for many projects. For example, a library to encryption, a library to encryption, or for example, a library to read barcodes, or a library to, let me think one more thing, HTTP interceptors. We work in this kind of thing. We create a library, and the developers in the bank use our library to create their projects more easily. They don't need to create all from scratch. It's just pick up our library and use it. And this last week, what I do is help developers who need to some help. For example, when I work, we use Angular. And for example, we have a lot of versions of Angular. And in the bank that I work, we use Angular 12. But there are some projects that use Angular 8. So they need to migrate 8 from 12. So this last week, I helped them to do the migrate from these versions. This is something that we do in Architecture too. Let me see what more I do. Yes, my work is create two libraries, is help developers to do their tasks and do the new versions of their libraries and create other solutions, like for example, a new type of architecture. We just work as it would just work in Angular, but we try to study if we can't come from the bank React, for example. So we need to study and make some small projects, tests if this works, think about all the environment that we have and if this works, and do research and do documentations. Yes, I think it's this.
So what technologies you used?
In my work, JavaScript is the principal for all. Angular, as I say to you. And the most part of the things that we need as I work in a bank, the tools need the source code need to be us for security proposals and security and governance. So if we need some tool, we as architecture need to do this too. For example, I need the tool to make the let me see example. To make a connection between two applications, for example, a micro front end and the other micro front end, I need intermediate. So we do this. We cannot use a third-party software or a third-party library, for example, because we need to guarantee the security of the code and the data who was I forgot the word, but the data who's not translate. But you understand.
So In this 5 years, what you have learned?
Well, I think the most important thing is about ask for help. This is the most important thing. Ask for help. Say when you don't have sure what you do, and I think what I do as a software developer is find solutions. The tools that I use is just a detail. Today I use JavaScript, but I can use Java. I can use C++. I can use other kind of things of tools. Or for example, low code. I can solve some problems use low code. I don't need to code for exactly. And I think this is one of the most important things that I learned in these 5 years. And of course, it's about people all the time. So we need to know how to ask something, work together, and share our knowledge. I think this is something very important. If you say what you learn and talk to people and shows, do talks for community, what you think you know, you will learn very much. You learn a lot, because how you explain what you do, and what you say, you learn a lot about. You learn more about it.
And how many technologies you know, and what are your skills, technical skills?
I don't understand the last part.
How many technologies you know, and what are your technical skills?
Okay, I work with JavaScript. I work with Java, and Java 13 is the last version of Java that I work. I work with R language. It's a statistical language. I do some small projects with Python in the university. I already work with C++. It's my first job. And what more? And I start to learn Rust. Rust is amazing technology, but I start to read a book was 2 weeks, so there's not enough time. And React, of course, Angular, what more? And Docker is the one another technology that I work too. What more? AWS. I too much work with AWS. It's 3 years works with the AWS infrastructure. For me, it's very easily and it's very nice. It's a very nice environment to work. What more? And I think that is.
So working on architectures, how you feel and what do you learn?
Okay, as in architecture, we learn to just do not think just about our application. When I was a software developer, I have a task and I need to deliver my task. If something goes wrong, I will solve just to solve and go forward to publish it in production. When you work in architect, it's not just to solve a problem. You need to understand why does this problem happen? Why? And you need to fix it, but not fix just to work. You need to fix to the problem doesn't happen again. In Portuguese, we call solve a problem just to solve has a gambiarra. When you do a code, there is not a good code, but they solve a problem for the way not security is a gambiarra. So we don't do this in architect. We need to do the best approach to guarantee quality, security, scalability, and I think this is something that I like too much. I guarantee quality in everything that I work. Another approach I do in Architect is to create some workshops, because we create libraries and services and reference architects. So we need the developers in the bank and other the startups, for example, that is inside the Santander, know how to use. So we need to teach how to use the solutions that we develop.
And how many softwares on which you are working right now?
Maybe more than 20. More than 20. In the last week, I work in 10 projects, 10 different projects, and there are architecture projects that are, I think, the 3 or 4, and some projects that I start to do documentation, so it's more 3 different. We change a lot about projects. In one day, I can work, for example, in 4 projects, in 4 different projects. So we change context a lot of times in one day.
So how is that working in different projects at the same time?
It's hard. It's very hard. Because imagine you work in a task. You understand all your environment, all your scenario, and when you change for the other project, you need to load all the context. And when you change again, you need to load another context. And sometimes I start in project A, so I stop and go to project B, stop, go to project C. So I need to go back to project B again, go back to project C, go to project A. and I think this is hard to remember all the context, because is for example, one project is about payment. Okay. The other one is for security, for example. So, and the other one is other project that work for a simple landing page, for example. But our different business rules, are different. Angular versions, for example, is not in common. I work in a project Angular 8 before Angular 10 and Angular 12, and I think this is the most hard part. Change the context, and don't forget what I do in the last project, because I will need to go back to the project in, I don't know, 2 times in the same day.
And how you put reminders for which you worked before?
Look, I really don't have idea. How can I remember? I think it's like you create a chatbot, for example. When you create a chatbot, you need to do a tree. And this tree is a tree decision. So you have answers, you have questions to go to another branch, and you have another question. I think my brain works this way. Well, I go to the project A. Okay, project A, I have this, what is the word? This keyword, for example, payment, security, and etc. I think the keywords help me to remember all the context, but I do documentation all the time. The second thing that I do in my work after change all the context, is documentation. So documentation is not just because I need to remember all the context, but it's because, for example, if I feel sick today and I cannot continue work in my project, my other partner will look my documentation and take the work back. Or for example, if I create a project, for example, to use a library, you need a documentation. So all need a documentation. And I think, for example, if I take 2 hours to work in a project to do something to help someone or create another component and something like that, 2 hours work, 1 hour document all that I do. Is something very different to work with architecture. When I was software engineer, I don't do documentations. I just write something like, let me see, a README. The most closer of documentation is a README. Oh, look, to run the project, npm start. To build the project, npm build. It's just this. But right now, no. I need to do a real documentation. How you implement, how you do troubleshoot if something goes wrong. But it's fun. It's fun to create documentations because I have more sure that I really understand what I will do, what I do know, what I will do, and I think I'm learn more document before I do my work.
You do everything alone?
No, I am in a team. I am a front end, so I have more 3 front ends like me. We have an architect, someone just focus and help us, and we have a scrum master, and we have a PO to help us too. So in my team was 9 developers, because when we work in architect, everybody is developer. My scrum master is a senior developer. My PO is a senior developer. Everyone in architecture team is a senior developer or an architect or something like that. It's amazing. It's amazing work as a team, 100% technical.
So 20 projects working at the same time, and all those projects have the same technologies and same skill set.
We have, let me see, in the bank, we have a reference architecture. So what I have sure, everybody works using Angular. This is for all. Everybody using Angular. Everybody use the same type of architecture. For example, everybody use the end layers architecture, for example. So this is more easily to me. But we have 3 types of application. We have library, is library. We have a micro frontend, it's different from library. And we have single page applications, was a monolith. So we work in monolith, micro frontend, and libraries. So I have 3 types of architecture. Every architecture in the bank is Angular, so I think this is more easily. And the difference between this project is about rules, is about business rules. This is something very different from one another. Integrations, because some projects use third-party integrations, for example, for payments. Yes, all the projects are Angular. The difference between this project is if they are a single-page application, a monolith, if they are a micro front-end, or if they are a library. and the Angular version is a difference between these two. And the other difference between projects is the type of integrations. For example, third-party integrations, or if it's something integrations we do. For example, a service from the bank is more easily to handle if it's our application. So the integration is about our applications. What more? Yep, I think this is the general. It's more easily because, for example, if I work for a React project, for example, and we don't have a reference architecture, every team do what they want. We have, for example, an Angular project, a React project, a Vue project. It's hard to manage because every project is so different from one another, and it is not if, for example, if one developer go out from the team and they don't do a documentation, we don't have idea what they do, so it's hard to help. And the other problem, I think, is about learning. If something new, if a new developer coming from the bank, it's easy. We have a lot of courses, training courses, and articles to help this new developer understand our architecture, understand Angular, and start to work. If we don't have the reference architecture and everyone do what they want, it's hard to teach someone new to how we work, for example. So for me, it's perfect that every project use Angular.
So how is management, the project management?
The project management is not due for the architecture team. The manager is another team who take care, for example, about security, and, for example, server consuming, about what is the word? How to say? Compliance, governance, and exists another area called solutions architect. Solutions architect don't do my work. They take the idea of the project and select the most recommended technologies to solve the problem that the project wants to solve. For example, if I want to create a simple page, I don't need to use any framework. It's just a HTML project with a simple CSS, and is it. But if I need, for example, create HTTP interceptors to intercept HTTP calls, well, this is something that we can use in another project. So we present to the team what is the best tools to create HTTP interceptors. This is what the team of solutions architect do. So they do this kind of governance because they guarantee all the projects work with the right technologies. And the other team, governance, look for security, maintenance, and if this project will be what's the word? If this project is receive updates, if this project needs to be discontinued. As architecture, I don't do this kind of thing. There are other areas, but it's because it's a big tech. I think if I work in a small startup, for example, probably I will do this manage me and DevOps person for sure. DevOps helps a lot to manage applications.
So at last, what do you say about your work to my audience?
Sorry for my bad English. I speak Spanish every day for the last 1 month. But I am really happy to be here, and I hope your audience understand how much is important to understand architecture. Architecture is not a problem. They don't make your team more slowly. It's completely different. Architecture will help you to produce results more fast and a best way. A way that you can produce a software with quality. The software will be maintainable, will be testable, and will be scalable. So please study architecture. It's amazing.
So as a software developer, what is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
Yes, I see, and I think your idea is very amazing because you work with people from all the countries, and I see an interview with a German. I think he's a German developer, and it's very fun and it's very interesting to just understand what other people do and they work. For example, here in Brazil, we work a totally different way. For example, developers in German do. Right here, for example, for pull request. Right here in Brazil, we love to do jokes and memes. We are the most, I think there is not other country to produce so much memes. And for example, if you send me a pull request and it's normal, I answer your request with a meme, for example. This is not something that you found in other countries, for example. And I think it's interesting learn with the other developers' culture. Because it's not just about technology, it's how we work, how we produce, how much time we work every day. I think in Europe, they work less hours than we work in Brazil, for example. I work 8 hours every day for Santander, but I work in side projects more 4 hours a day. It's too much time working, you know? And if you take, for example, someone in Europe, they work just 6 hours. It's so much different. And I think this is amazing, have contact with this kind of information.
So I personally, my full-time job is to do DevOps engineering. I did masters.
Amazing.
I did masters in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm working on DevOps engineering projects. I'm a DevOps engineer.
Oh.
That's my full-time job. So apart from that full-time job, I'm interviewing people like you who are from different parts of the world, who are doing different jobs, different roles, different levels in the technology and from different countries. So as a developer, what do you think I'm going to learn from talking with different country people who are into technology and who are into uh, uh, different departments in technology, and also from lower level to higher level? I interview even CEOs, founders of the companies, how they do business. So I try to understand the business side of the technology and also the software development and how it is deployed and how it is created and how it is being architect. So trying to understand the whole industry by interviewing experts from all over the planet. So how this experience is going to helpful for me if I work in IT or as a DevOps engineer or in a team or in a company.
Oh, always amazing. In Santander, we start to work in a project with other developers from Santander too, but different countries. For example, I work in a team with Spanish, and 2 European, I think they are from England, 2 Brazilians, me, and more 2 coworkers in Brazil, and 1 from Argentina. And I think the best part to have contact for developers from different countries is because you learn new ways to do a same thing. So here in Brazil, we do these things. We use too much VS Code, right, in Brazil, because VS Code is easily too. But in other countries, they use other tools. And in Brazil, we do things for a type of work. For example, we have 2 applications in 2 different countries that solve the same problem. We have the same problem in 2 different countries. In every developer team work the same solution, but the way the other team build the solution is completely different than the way we do the solution in Brazil. So I think it's very interesting to understand how someone solve the same problem than you trying to solve, but for a totally different way. And I think you have the opportunity to learn with the other experience. And I think this is the most amazing thing about what you do when you talk with people, when you talk to in person, for example, in a meetup, or as I say, like you do. So I think is a way to learn more. And it's like me. I learn more about projects because I have contact with a lot of projects. If I have contact with just one project, I just learn about this project. But when you have a lot of things different, you start to look different. You not look all with so many details. As you say, you try to understand first what is the business problem that this application solve, and what are the technologies this project used to solve this problem. I think this is just enough. All the other things you need to do, you will ask to the team. Hey, you use, for example, JavaScript to create this component. Why do you use JavaScript? And they will explain to you. And this is enough. You can help these teams find solutions, just hear what they say to you. So you use the knowledge from the team that you don't have. The knowledge is just for the team. But you understand what they say, you hear, you use their own knowledge to help they solve their problems.
Awesome. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Of course. So again, sorry for my bad English, but I do my best.
Yeah, English is very clear. I can understand,
thank
and
you.
I'm sure everybody who listens to you will definitely understand. Can I also put this video and audio clip on my podcast website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Of course, you can. And about language, for example, I don't know if I mentioned it to you. I speak Portuguese, of course, because I'm Brazilian. I speak Spanish because I work in a Spanish bank. I speak English, or at least I try to speak English. I speak Latin language. You know, Latin languages, this is amazing. Why I start to learn Latin? Because I think it's more easily to learn, for example, Spanish and Italian and French if you have a base about Latin language. And for example, if you learn C++, C++ is a hard language to learn. But if you have knowledge about C++, it's more easily to you to work with Node.js, for example, or other technology that are built in C++. And oh my God, it's a lot of things that are built in C++ in the moment. They're a friend of mine, Eric Wendell. Eric Wendell work in Node.js core, and he recreate the Node.js. And he talk about this. He talk a lot about this. They need to understand what C++ do and how many runtimes are built in completely different languages. For example, they know Bun, and it's very interesting learn with the when you stop to focus in just one language and start to learn the main language. So what I think is interesting to do in software developer, for example, with C++, this is what I do in languages. Study Latin language.
That's great. Do you create content, or do you share your knowledge through your websites or your mediums? I'll share those links with my audience.
Great. The first one is my Twitter. I am very active on Twitter, but I do tweets just in Portuguese. But the good news is that you can translate. You just click the button translate, and you can understand what I say to your language. The other one that I share something is my LinkedIn. For example, I write this time? I wrote an article about Santander. For example, when you handle with JSON, for example, package JSON, you will look, there are some caret symbols, and the symbol is like a snake. I forgot the name, but there are a caret and a snake in the front of the version of a library that you use. So I wrote an article about this. And when I do this, I always share in social media, LinkedIn and Twitter. I am more active in Twitter.
That's great. I'll share, if you can send me your links, I'll put in the description also on my website as well. People who visits my website can see the work that you're doing. Can learn from you.
Amazing. Great.
Thanks, Jessica, for your valuable time. It's the second time we missed, first time we connected now. We did it.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'm very happy that you called me to talk about something that I like too much. I like too much to work and to talk about architecture. And I hope your audience like our conversation and start to study architecture. Please study architecture. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Keep inspiring and keep sharing knowledge, and keep make more people to learn technology and know technology things.
Sorry, fail my side note. Can you repeat, please?
Keep learning, keep inspiring, and keep making people learn from you.
Oh, great. Thank you. And please continue to do these amazing interviews. It's so much fun to watch. Really. Really, thank you. Your idea to make interviews is so amazing.
Definitely. You will see more interesting people in coming days, and I'm sure you'll like it.
Of course. Great.
Thanks. Thanks, Jessica, again, for your time.
Thank you so much. Say goodbye.
Bye.